What's going on, Halloween fanatics? Welcome to my Halloween franchise ranking video. Now, we have a new entry into the Halloween franchise this year, and that being Halloween Ends. Now, the last Halloween franchise ranking I didn't include Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, but this time I'm including every movie. And I want to make this statement before I jump into it. You cannot rank a Halloween movie that has Donald Pleasance acting in it last. If you do, then your Halloween franchise ranking is a joke. With that being said, let's start this Halloween franchise ranking video. Coming in at number 13, Halloween Ends. Now, this should be a surprise to no one, and I could go on a rant, but I'm gonna try my best to keep it brief. Now, the main reasons Halloween Ends comes in last place is because Michael Myers was physically and psychologically abused in this movie, and the audience got to see Michael Myers as a regular human being, and we got to see him respond to pain like a regular person would, and he was also killed off, which is a big no-no. I mean, you know how bad that was for the general audience? I mean, think about this. The last memory of the general audience will be Michael Myers getting beat up, getting yelled at, and actually getting killed. And the average fan is gonna not want to see another Halloween movie after that, because they're gonna be like, hey, last time I seen Michael Myers on the big screen, he was a complete pussy. So why would they go and see another Halloween movie? Let's be real. And then you have this stupid Lifetime story with Corey and Allison. And just the mere fact that Corey Cunningham has more kills than Michael Myers in this movie, and he's basically Michael Myers in this movie. But another thing that irked my nerves was the lack of fall atmosphere, and Halloween wasn't even utilized in the storyline, which is the main reason for this Halloween franchise. I mean, the whole movie is just complete stupid. It's stupid, and I have several rants on my channel about this stupid ass movie, so check those out. And I'm not going to waste no more time on this movie. So yeah, that's number 13, the worst Halloween movie in history. Coming in at number 12, Halloween Kills. Look, if there's a movie I hate just as much as Halloween Ends, it's Halloween Kills. A movie filled with no story, no plot, no nothing. And the comedic elements that were sprinkled into this movie didn't make it any better. And oh, the social commentary made this movie that much worse, especially that meaningless hospital scene. Thanks, Jamie Lee Curtis. Can you actually believe she said this movie was a masterpiece? A masterpiece of shit. That's what it was. Now, this movie was a joke. And I can't believe y'all actually took this movie seriously. Of course, I get what people say. Hey, they want to see Michael Myers kill. That's all they wanted. They didn't want no story or whatever. Well, you definitely got that. You got Michael Myers killing, but at the same time, you also got Michael Myers getting beat down in the street and crawling for his knife and shaking, looking like a complete bitch once again. But I will say this, him laying on the floor, actually trembling and shaking for his knife, that wasn't nearly as bad as what I seen in Halloween Ends when Michael Myers had killed that cop in that sewer with Corey. Michael was shaking like a stripper. But anyway, the only positive I have about Halloween Kills is probably the flashback scene and Aaron Armstrong's portrayal of Michael Myers. Now, I will say Aaron Armstrong is arguably the second best Michael Myers, tied with James Jude Courtney at second place. And again, I have lots of rants and even a live commentary on Halloween Kills. And Halloween Kills is a movie I will never watch again, so there's that. Halloween Kills coming in at number 12. Now, coming in at number 11, Rob Zombie's 2009 Halloween 2. Look, this movie is awful, horrible, disrespectful, and careless. However, Rob Zombie actually got the first 20 minutes of this movie right, but other than that, this movie is straight up garbage juice. From the Michael Myers mask to Loomis being a jerk, but hey, Malcolm McDowell, he got one of the best lines in the franchise. He told his assistant, hey, if I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you. I was like, damn, that shit right there was funny as hell. But look, Loomis, he's a complete asshole in this movie, and in a way, Laurie Strode is a complete asshole too. But she's mentally damaged, and at this point, she's at the point of no return. And Tyler Mane, I feel like he did a great job, but the whole movie, he's just maskless, and he only puts it on when he's about to kill people. And he's dressed like a bum, walking around Haddonfield, eating dogs to survive. However, Rob Zombie did incorporate some pretty cool stuff into the character. I mean, he had some creative kills, and He was flipping over cars. He was choke slamming people. I mean, Rob Zombie's version of Michael Myers is probably the most ruthless in the series. However, other actors like Scout Taylor Compton and Brad Dourif, they also did amazing in this movie. I mean, though I could have did without all the screaming that Scout Taylor Compton was doing, it was a little bit over the top, but I feel like Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Compton on-screen chemistry is great, and it borderline somewhat saved this movie. But at the end of the day, nothing in the world could save this movie. I mean, nothing. And Scout Taylor Compton, I will say this about her. She's leagues above Andi Matichak acting-wise. But yep, that's all I got to say about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And truthfully, all three movies, you know, Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills, and Rob Zombies 2 should all be tied for the worst in the franchise, in my opinion. Coming in at number 10, 2002's Halloween Resurrection. Now, this is a typical early 2000s movie, and this is a bad movie, don't get me wrong. But it definitely had potential, and I often said that this movie would be ultimately great for a rebrand of Michael Myers. All they had to do was insert the beginning of this movie with Laurie Strode and Michael Myers and everything like that. All they had to do was put that part at the end of the movie, and you could have Michael Myers just walking out into the ether, handing that knife off to that patient. And that would have been great. And then you just play the Halloween theme and, you know, we got our next movie or whatever. It would have set it up great for the franchise. You know, I just don't understand why people feel like they need to rank this movie last. I mean, The Mask is not the worst. The Halloween theme is good. They actually brought back the Myers house the right way for people who complain about Halloween 6 Myers house, Halloween 5 Myers house. And they killed off Laurie Strode. Isn't that what all the Halloween fan base wanted? Now, this movie kept Michael Myers, unlike Halloween Ends, and everyone likes to shit on Busta Rhymes. Well, you can blame the Halloween fans for that, especially when they did the test screening for Halloween Resurrection. They wanted to see more Busta Rhymes. So guess what the producers, Mustafa Akkad, and the writers did? They made Busta Rhymes more prevalent into the storyline. Now, I will say that at least Busta Rhymes punking Michael Myers out is way more believable than Corey Cunningham. And when Busta Rhymes had actually came face to face with Michael Myers for the first time, and he was like, "Hey, what you doing dressed up as Michael Myers? Go in the back and help Nora." And he was given the exact location where she was, and you know, basically he was saying, "Hey, go around back and kill Nora, then come back and kill me." And I thought that was funny how Busta Rhymes was talking about that. But yeah, I feel like Resurrection is wasted potential, like I said. And if I could rewrite this movie, I think I could make it a lot better. But overall, this movie was not good. Coming in at number 9, and I know a lot of people would disagree with me on this one, but it's 1981's Halloween 2. Now, when I say this movie is one of the most boring horror movies I've ever seen, I mean it. I mean, I always dread watching this one when I'm binge watching them on Halloween. The first 10 to 20 minutes is kind of action-packed along with the last 10 minutes, but other than that, I didn't find Michael Myers exciting at all in this movie. The characters were kind of boring and bland. I mean, the empty hospital didn't make it any better. And Dick Warlock, I mean, he moved like an animatronic during this whole entire movie, especially when Michael Myers went into Laurie's hospital bedroom and he stabbed the pillows. Like, if y'all look at that, y'all never notice how weird that looked. Like, he pulled the covers back. It was so weird how he did it, and he stabbed the pillow. Like, he turned his whole body just to stab a pillow and then move his head. Like, why are you so stiff? And then in the beginning of the movie, when you had Michael Myers walking the streets to get to Haddonfield Memorial, he was on a mission. You could tell he was kind of speed walking fast, and then once he actually gets to the hospital, he's bullshitting around. And the chase scene between him and Laurie at the end, it was very uneventful. I mean, it was uneventful until Loomis came into the picture to save her, but point blank, this movie is too slow for me. And it keeps decreasing every time I do a ranking video. Like, if Halloween 2 1981 came out in today's time, I bet everyone would be shitting on this movie. And it's not good in my opinion, but hey, it did incorporate the sister brother storyline, so that's a plus. Oh, and one more thing. I think it was kind of a mistake to have like Michael walking around without his butcher knife. I mean, it made him look small walking around with that scalpel. I mean, he didn't seem intimidating, but that's just me. But yeah, a complete snooze fest. Halloween 2. Now, coming in at number 8, Halloween 2018. Halloween 2018 has grown on me slightly. They got some things right and a whole lot of things wrong. And I mean, they start off the movie showing Michael's face, and he's not isolated amongst the other patients. Therefore, in my opinion, he's no different from the other patients. I mean, they're all on the same level. And I just wish they showed him isolated in the yard, chained up, and maybe with a muzzle on his entire face. And if we're gonna be real, Halloween 2018, this movie was nothing more than a glorified remake. Nothing significant happened. I mean, all 3 Strode women, they lived at the end, so nothing bad happened, right? And I just wasn't a fan of the storyline. I mean, Michael escapes Smith Grove yet again. Kills random babysitter yet again. Laurie escapes from him yet again. But this was a complete safe reboot that should have just been a one and done. And just like I said with Resurrection, if I could tweak some things, I think I could make this a great movie. For example, I would have filmed at a different location. I mean, this location was just pathetic, and it's down here in Charleston, South Carolina. No Halloween atmosphere whatsoever. And another thing I would have done, I would have had the girl who played Vicky be the main character in this movie. I feel like she could have held up this trilogy a lot better than what Allison has been doing. So I just feel like Allison should have been the one with the Julian babysitting, and you would have had Vicky as the Laurie Strode's granddaughter. I feel like that would have been a better fit because I feel like the girl who played Vicky, she's better at acting, and like I said, she's a fan favorite, and she's just a likable character. So with that being said, they should have did that switch. And another thing that I really didn't like was they didn't make Hawkins the sheriff. I mean, that's common sense to have him as the sheriff, but of course they had to have a black sheriff because Blumhouse and, you know, David Gordon Green, they had to have their token in this movie. But, you know, that's another story. But another thing, dang, it's just a lot of negatives coming in my mind all of a sudden. Like, having 3 women as the leads is just a no. Like, why would you do that? At least have 1 strong woman and 1 strong male. That's all you had to do. You didn't have to have 3 women looking down on Michael Myers like that, saying, hey, we defeated Michael Myers, we survived and we kill you. I mean, it's just look, I can go into it a lot, but I'm not just gonna do it. But other than those issues, man, I can actually watch this movie and enjoy it occasionally. So it is having a slight rewatchability to it. So I will say that. Coming in at number 7, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, arguably one of the best sci-fi simplistic horror movies out there. It's definitely cheesy, don't get me wrong, 1982, so, you know, if you can bypass that, you can enjoy this film. And it's a great dive into corporate witchery. And the soundtrack and the theme carried this movie completely, along with some great actors. Tom Atkins, you know, he's a classic actor along with Dan O'Leary. He did amazing. And I just feel like they don't make actors like that anymore. And the plot of this movie was great. Halloween actually was the focal point, which is why I enjoy this movie so much. I mean, Tommy Lee Wallace, he did a great job for sure. But the Colonel Cochran character is so great. I mean, from his dialogue to his accent to his speeches, I mean, he did an amazing job. And he's one of the main reasons I like this movie so much. But yeah, I think this movie being ranked at number 7, I think it's the right placement. Coming in at number 6, 2007 Rob Zombie's Halloween remake. Now, years ago, this movie would have been ranked at the bottom, but Rob Zombie's remake of the original, I felt like it was great, and he added some cool stuff into this movie. And I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the origin story behind Michael Myers or whatever, but honestly, it doesn't bother me no more. And he assembled an all-star cast. I mean, everyone mashed well together. I mean, from Joe Grizzly to Danielle Harris to Scout Taylor Compton, Malcolm McDowell. I mean, they did amazing. And the mask in this movie, before it all got dirty or whatever, it was great. But as time goes on, the mask gets dirty. And I really didn't like that at first, but you know, like I said, as time goes on, I mean, it grew on me. So right now, as it sits today, I do like that Rob Zombie's Halloween mask. But I'm talking about the 2007 version. Forget that 2009 version. But anyway, you know, this is almost like a love letter from Rob Zombie to John Carpenter. Even though John Carpenter didn't see it that way and a lot of fans didn't see it that way, I mean, you can tell that Rob Zombie really put his all into this movie. And that's why he probably got burnt out with Halloween 2 when that came along. But, you know, I recommend everyone watch that 4-hour behind the scenes footage of the making of Halloween. And you will have a whole new respect for Rob Zombie. And I just feel like this movie should be ranked a little bit higher on everybody's list. Now, Rob Zombie's Halloween is borderline a masterpiece. And I know a lot of people saying, what? I mean, it's a pure horror movie from start to finish. And it's amazing storytelling. And I was invested in every single aspect of the movie. I just feel like y'all should show more appreciation to this classic movie. Okay, so now it's top 5 time, and coming in at number 5, a movie people hate for bullshit reasons, 1998's Halloween H2O. Now, Halloween H2O is probably the most rewatchable movie in the Halloween franchise, in my opinion. And I will say this movie is the best shot movie in the franchise. And Halloween H2O actually looked like it belongs into a movie theater, unlike the rest of the Halloween movies, in my opinion. And I feel like a lot that had to do with that was the location. I mean, I love this location, and I know a lot of people say it doesn't feel or look like a Halloween movie, but honestly, I couldn't disagree more. And a lot of people like to point out, hey, this look like Scream or whatever, and I just don't see it. Now, the opening scene, this captures the Halloween atmosphere perfectly. And H2O just has a lot of tension building up, a lot of scary scenes, and the opening sequence with Marion Chambers when she's being stalked by Michael Myers is creepy as hell, especially how they had like everything set up. And then you have that epic bathroom scene in this movie, which built a lot of tension. And then you have all that stuff happening on campus, which, you know, one of my favorite shots is like the hallway shot. Like it's in the beginning of the movie when, you know, they show, I guess, this dream sequence of Laurie Strode. And, you know, they show this hallway with the curtains blowing and the leaves in the hallway. And that's just scary. I mean, I love that shot. One of the best shots in the Halloween franchise. And then you have that badass lunchroom table scene with Laurie and Michael. I mean, that's one of the best scenes in the Halloween franchise. God dog, man. I mean, this movie is just like poetry in motion. And, you know, this is arguably one of the best acting performances by anyone in the Halloween franchise. And I will say that Jamie Lee Curtis did a damn good job. She's a badass in this movie, and I'll give her that. Only thing that messed up this movie was the mask. And, you know, they really messed that up, and I just don't understand how they did that. And then a lot of people say that Chris Duran, you know, he's not my favorite, but he's far from the worst, put it that way. And I will say that he's better than George P. Wilburg in Halloween 6. But overall, Halloween H2O definitely one of the best in the franchise, and I just don't understand. I just don't understand why people hate this movie so much. But yeah, that's Halloween H2O. Now coming in at number 4, Halloween 6, the producer's cut. Now, this movie is great. So many layers to it. I mean, it keeps you entertained throughout the entire movie. And honestly, when you're watching this producer's cut, it's almost like a movie you're not supposed to be seeing, in a good way, though. And like Halloween 6, it doesn't even feel like it's a part of the franchise. But again, I mean this in a good way. And it's pure chaos from start to finish. And when I say like we don't supposed to actually be watching this, it almost like somebody got a secret camera and they're going behind the scenes of the life of Michael Myers. That's how I feel. And honestly, I just don't understand all the hate that The Court of Thorn gets. I mean, I love those movies. How could anyone hate this movie? Hell, Dr. Wynn and Colonel Cochran are basically the same characters with similar motives. And y'all love Halloween 3, so I just don't understand the hate for Halloween 6. And Kara Strode is arguably the second best final girl, tied with Rachel Carruthers from Halloween 4 in my opinion. And Donald Pleasance, he did his thing. Man, like, he really loved this franchise, and that's why I appreciate this movie a lot more, because, you know, rest in peace to him, he actually died, you know, technically making this movie. But the only thing I really wasn't a fan of in this movie was George P. Wilbur's portrayal of the Shape. I mean, I just didn't like it. Whether it was the mask or him just walking funny or whatever, it just seems like he woke up out of bed and be like, yeah, I played, you know, Michael Myers in Halloween 4. I can do it again. It's nothing. That's how I feel like he, you know, approached Michael Myers in this movie. And the mask is one of the worst in the franchise, but that's really not saying much. But I will say that they did make up for a lot of those negative things with the fall atmosphere and them having Halloween as a focal point in this movie, just like Halloween 3. And the radio station playing throughout this movie was a great creepy touch. And I just love this movie. And, you know, I don't even watch the theatrical cut. I mean, for what it's worth, I just feel like it's just one movie, the producer's cut. And as far as I'm concerned, the theatrical cut doesn't exist. Now, coming in at number 3, Halloween 5. Halloween 5 is a great movie from start to finish. Although it does have some, you know, drawn out scenes, the climax is definitely worth it at the end. So if you can get through the middle portion of this movie, you would appreciate the ending. Now, everything people say they hate about this movie, I actually love. I love the mask. It looks sinister. I love Don Shanks playing the Shape. I mean, he did a great job. He was ruthless and, you know, some of the best kills in the franchise. Tina, a lot of people hate Tina because she's aggravating or whatever. But I feel like she did great in this movie. And Sheriff Meeker, I mean, what can we say about Sheriff Meeker? He's a straight up G. Donald Pleasance, Dr. Loomis, he gave you so much in this movie, and at this point, he's obsessed with Michael Myers, and I just love it. And Danielle Harris, she did a great job as well acting in this movie. But one thing I love, and, you know, was the fact that, you know, Jamie Lloyd, she grew in this movie, and, you know, she was hesitant at first to help Loomis out and fill him in on clues, but once Tina was killed or stabbed at the end, she was like, I give up. What do you want me to do? And I'll help you out, because enough is enough. Michael was destroying people mentally and physically. And that's what I love. I love to see Jamie Lloyd progress as a character. And, you know, she was not able to talk from the beginning, and now she's talking. And, you know, it was just a great moment seeing her talk, especially, you know, with her and Tina, you know, going back and forth. I mean, it was great. It was great chemistry. Now, Halloween 5 got several scenes in the top 10 of the franchise, in my opinion. From the laundry chute scene, the car chase scene, and Loomis, you know, he literally almost killed himself trying to contain Michael Myers. And I love how, like, he was shooting him with the tranquilizer gun and then he beat him with the 2x4 or whatever. Michael Myers passed out and Loomis fell on top of him, and Loomis was looking into his eyes, and Michael had on the mask. I mean, that was a great way to, like, end the franchise. That was a good way to end it. And, you know, it was poetry in motion yet again. And I'm going to be honest. I think the character of Loomis was enjoying playing cat and mouse with Michael in this movie. And I just feel like this. No one on this earth can rank Halloween 5 last and be taken seriously. And that's all I'm going to say. Number 3, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. A classic movie. Now, coming in at number 2, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And to be honest, this movie is probably the best in the franchise by far. And it should be ranked number 1, but out of default, 1978 is going to be there. But yeah, Halloween 4 did the damn thing, and it's the best movie in the franchise. And the reason I feel like this is the best movie in the franchise is because the pacing is great, it's not slow, it doesn't have any slow burning elements to it, and that's why I could say that it beats out Halloween 1978. And I know a lot of people are not a fan of the Halloween 4 mask, but as a whole, I feel like the fan base has, you know, grown to like it. Especially me, I like it. I own one of the Halloween 4 masks. Now, the character of Loomis, he did his best. I mean, this is one of the best performances in the Halloween franchise, and it's probably Donald Pleasant's best acting in the franchise in this movie. 6 bodies, Sheriff. A filling station in flames. I mean, I love it. Halloween 4 is a masterpiece, on every level. I mean, what more can I say? I mean, this movie has no weaknesses to it. I mean, I really can't find nothing negative to say about this movie. And that's my number 2. But really, it's my number 1. But, coming in at number 1, the classic Halloween 1978, a movie that made horror what it is today, decades upon decades. Now, the cast and the crew, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this simplistic babysitting murder movie. I mean, sometimes simplicity is the best, and that's exactly what Halloween 1978 is. Look, it's not for everyone, and I showed my wife this movie a while ago, and she was like, it's bored. Michael isn't really doing nothing. He's just standing there looking. Like, why am I scared? You got some people like that, but then you got some people like me who Halloween 1978 is their favorite movie of all time, and it'll never be replaced. So, I just feel like Nick Castle is the main reason why this movie succeeded, because the way he played the shape, his gestures and stuff like that. But also, you got to give a shout out to Dean Cundey and, Deborah Hill. I mean, there was a big part in this. And, Laurie Strode, her character was really bland. Anyone could have did that. Jamie Lee Curtis, took it and ran with it, of course. But, anyone could have played that character and did as well as Jamie Lee Curtis. So, I'm just throwing that out there. But, yeah. Halloween 1978, number 1. But Halloween 4, man, I started to put Halloween 1978 and Halloween 4 ranked number 1, so at a tie. So, Halloween 4 is a damn good movie, but that 1978 is something about it. But yeah, that's my Halloween ranking. And who knows, man, maybe some of these movies shuffle around in the future, but as of right now, I feel confident in saying this is a solid rating for me anyway. So yeah, what do you all think about my ranking? And below, I want to see your rankings. Where do you rank all these movies? And show love to Halloween 5. Please show love to Halloween 5. But anyway, y'all, if y'all love any and everything Michael Myers, Halloween, paranormal, I do a lot of paranormal stuff on my channel, like Ghost Adventures, and just talking about, America Huntings and stuff like that, Ghost. If you like that type of stuff, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you can see every time I upload. And as always, be safe. Peace.